Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to my channel. I am back from my trip and I'm ready to get on with October because there are tons of things coming and we just got to get started. So I only managed to read 3 books last month. As I predicted, I wasn't going to get a lot of reading in just because of traveling and everything that I had going on, but I did manage to read 3. Of course, the first book that I did was audiobooked Prisoner of Azkaban, as I am doing my reread by listening this year, which is different. I don't know. I feel like by the end of book 4, I might go back to just reading it. I prefer reading. I don't really like the guy's voice that does the audiobooks for this. I feel like Harry Potter is such a big phenomenon. Like, why can't we get a full cast to do the voices? Like, I volunteer to do a voice. My British accent's not that good, but I'm sure I can practice. But I really would love a full cast audiobook of this. But, this is still one of my favorite books of the series. So, I guess I'll watch the movie now. The second book that I finished in September is These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rash. This story is told from a 3-person standpoint. It is told at a time where, so basically, from the revolutionary side, you know that the world that she lives in, they gain their independence as rebels. So her parents are the people that are leading the peace treaty between Agridia, which is a super religious place that tried to conquer their land, and the prince of that world is just trying to figure out a balance between his responsibilities and the idea of magic and the idea of magic being bad, and just trying to figure out his world. There is like a love relationship there that y'all know I don't care about. Then it tells the story of a pirate who he's pretty much just a rebel. So the story takes place at the time, 5 years after their war, where they're trying to get a peace treaty done, but one of the diplomats of Agridia goes missing. So it literally conspires from there. It turns into this big conspiracy. Pretty much, this book to me is a good intro because it kind of tries to paint a picture of the type of world that you're being thrown in. To me, it gives me more of like a Pirates of the Caribbean vibe, in that each rebels have like their own tribes or their own crews rather. So each one has their own captain. So it really gives me like Pirates of the Caribbean 3, like, when they all met and they all had different leaders. That's the kind of vibe that you get from the rebels. And it honestly started off very, very slow. I found it difficult to read in the beginning. It wasn't that it was too descriptive. It was just that it was kind of dry. For me, when I start stories like this, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, because there are times when I just kind of feel like bleh. But I am actually looking forward to finishing this because the cliffhanger at the end is like very movie-esque. And I kind of feel like they did that on purpose, because I knew the end was coming, but I was mad that the end of the book was coming because I knew it wasn't enough pages to answer the question that I needed to answer. So obviously I have to read the second book when that does come out. But yeah, I do recommend this one. Unlike Sea Witch, I like this one. The next book that I read is Chainbreaker by Tara Sim. It is the second book of the Timekeeper series. I actually didn't realize, but on Hoopla, the audiobook is available. I had full plans on reading the ebook. I downloaded the ebook onto my iPad, and that's when I noticed that the audiobook was available. So I listened to the audiobook one day in Morocco while we were trekking through the mountains, which I'll talk about later. But so Chainbreaker starts a little bit after Timekeeper ends, and I don't want to give spoilers, but basically Danny goes off to India because clock towers are being destroyed, but time is not stopping. So that's all I'm going to tell you. I enjoyed it. I do look forward to the third book. I'm a little confused, honestly. I feel like at the end of the series I might do like a full review of the series, because this series, I find myself thoroughly intrigued. I just can't stand all the lovey-dovey stuff. And
okay. I found something on the web for when I find myself thoroughly intrigued. Take a look.
Y'all hear Siri all the way over there? Like, listening to my conversation. That was creepy. Okay, so like I was saying, I don't know. I know the story wouldn't be what it is if there wasn't like love with the clock tower, but it's still love of an object. So I'm a little confused, but you do learn some things about Colton, which is the clock spirit, which I actually really liked. You learn some things about Daphne. Really, I feel like the second book gave me some explanation. I don't know. We'll see what the third book is, but for the third book, I see a lot happening just because of where the second book left off, because I feel like the second book left off not giving me enough. It did not answer the questions that I had from the first book, nor did it just presented me more questions that I need answered at some point. So I know that there's a third book, so we'll see where that actually plays into it. Now, what am I reading for October? So October, I don't know. I used to think that I was one of those people who read based on like the fall season and stuff, but I'm actually not. I've just been on a very serious fantasy kick, and it's like every time I try to pause and like read a contemporary novel or something like that, I get bored really quick and I go right back into fantasy. So I feel like right now I'm staying with that fantasy kick because I am currently reading Carnivale, finally reading Carnivale by Stephanie Garber. I actually started listening to this via audiobook, but it's actually a very quick read, so I decided to just get the book off my shelf and read it that way. I'm on chapter 15, so that's page 147. Good so far. It's almost like you're having a dream. So for those who don't know, Carnivale is based around a girl named Scarlett. Her and her sister Tella, they live on this island with an abusive father. But there is this game called Carnivale, and basically you never know where Carnivale is going to be. You never know what Carnivale is going to be into, but it's by invitation only, and they receive invitations to go to Carnivale, and they sneak away and go. And basically, turns out that a part of Carnivale is you can either watch the games or play. But this year, to play the game, the clue is Scarlett's sister Tella. So now we're focusing on Scarlett trying to figure out what happened to her sister. I'm intrigued. I have a couple theories about some of the characters, but I still don't feel like I'm far enough in. Like I'm right here. So I'm almost midway through, but like I'm into it. I'm very into it. I'm glad that I finally picked it up. The second book has been out for a minute, so at least when I finish this, I can jump right into the second one. Of course, I'm going to the library tomorrow because I got some books on hold that I need to pick up. But of course, I'm going to be continuing the audiobooks for Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is actually one of my favorite books to read, but like one of my least favorite movies to watch because they leave so much out in the movie that it aggravates me. So I'm kind of debating, like, should I do full audiobook on this one or should I read? I haven't quite figured it out, but obviously I'll let you guys know at the end of the month what I decided. The next book that I hope to start reading is Pride by E.B. Zilboy. I've talked about this before. It's another anticipated. It's basically another retelling of the Pride and the Prejudice. And for those who don't know, Pride and the Prejudice is one of my favorite classic books. So if it came down to me rereading a classic, it's Pride and Prejudice most of the time. But I just recently started looking for the retellings of this book because I kind of feel like I want to collect them. I haven't decided yet, but I am going to start with Pride by E.B. Zilboy for obvious reasons. You guys know, Black authors. But it's a retelling told in modern times, so I'm very excited. I'm actually picking that up from the library tomorrow, so I'm very, very excited. I might even start reading that in between Carnivale. Like, I might just leave Carnivale at home and read Pride at work. I'll see how this works. The next book that I was super anticipating is A Blade So Black. I bought this one because I couldn't wait. The waiting list on this book is super long, so I was like, nah, I'm just going to buy it. But it's by Ella McKinney, of course. It is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but it is told from a Black person's perspective in Atlanta during like our modern times. I don't know how I feel about it, but I figured since I'm doing Pride, I might as well also do A Blade So Black. I haven't bought Pride yet, but I have a feeling if I like it, I'm going to buy it. But you guys will see the books that I've bought recently in a haul, because we obviously need a haul now because Morocco, everything. So we're going to get there. Speaking of Morocco, while on the trip, we had bus rides. So a lot of people had books and audiobooks, and one girl on the trip who we're now besties. We went to a Haman together. If you don't know what that is, we'll explain that later. But we're besties now. So I got this. I was in the store looking for Pride and A Blade So Black, and I came across this. It's Mind Platter by Nawa Zebian. And basically, to me, they come off like poetry, and then some of them, they don't come off as poetry, but they're just little inserts with different topics. And I'm thoroughly intrigued. I took out my annotations. But this is one of those books that I will be annotating. I know some people are like picky about that, but sticky notes have come out. I've already started underlining. Like, there's a couple of them that really speak to me, especially Power and Rest Your Heart, which is like one of the first two in the book. Those two severely speak to me, but I'll have more to say about this later. The cover is gorgeous. I will say that. So the next book that I'm going to read or listen to is If You Love Me by Hannah Kim. By Crystal Hannah Kim. It's an audiobook available on Hoopla. I look like I'm melting, but I'm not melting. But yeah, sorry, the lighting is weird. But basically, this book is a book that I said that I was looking forward to reading in the summer, and I never got to it. But it's about... it's a Korean love story, if I'm not mistaken. So I need to read it. Like, I feel like my last 3 TBRs of 2018, which, wow, my last 3 TBRs are going to include a lot of books that I did not get to read that I wanted to read over the years. So holy crap. I'm excited. There is an audiobook for it on Hoopla, so I can listen to it at work after I listen to Harry Potter. So, yeah. The final book that I plan on reading this month is One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. It is the second book of the Three Dark Crowns series. You guys heard me gushing about this particular book series in last month's recap, but I'm going to stress it again. I am obsessed. I was going to go to the library and get this book and take it with me, but then I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to take a library book. So then I've actually been waiting for the whole series to come out so I can buy the book set, because this is a book set that I plan on telling people about over and over and over. And I wish that there was some way that I could get the arc to the 4th one, because the 3rd one is already out. So I basically have 3, 4, and then 2 novellas to read. And I kind of want to slowly do it, but then I kind of want to speed up because I need to know what happens to these girls in the second book. So obviously I'm going to read the second one. I'll get back to Darkest Minds later. We'll do the Darkest Minds, and I think I need to do Wayward Children too. So we'll basically be doing a lot of sequels in the next coming months as well. Alright guys, so that was my September reads and October TBR. What books are you looking forward to reading? Leave them down below in the comment section. And until the next time guys, bye!